17 years old, first skater from New Zealand to win a Junior Grand Prix event, go on to compete at the Junior Grand Prix final as he did last season.
And Yanhao Lee Dwayne had been landing quads in practice this morning. That a new addition to his planned program content this season, and if it is going to happen, it's expected to be the first element in the program.
What do you see in this skater this year that we might not have seen as much last year?
I think this is senior material, the senior investment, the senior passion. There's a quad that's presumably consumed much of the off-season's development. That said, you argue the point, by including the quad, has that diminished the potential to keep the quality on the GOEs of the elements that he did last season?
Yeah, I see more attack. I see more speed. He was so aggressive, and he runs a high risk. For sure, there's going to be some mistakes, but I just see this huge amount of attack. Unfortunately, that the toe went a little bit too early on that quad attempt, and that ended up to double. but there's aggressiveness. There's a triple axel with a difficult entry, a little under-rotated on the quarter in the judging system. There's a number of mohawks into the triple flip, triple toe loop. He was so aggressive. Even at the end of the program, he was pushing and pushing, and I see that. That's going to be an asset when everything's clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly, Yanhao Li had said that in previous seasons when he's competed at the Junior World Championships, the end of the season has found him exhausted and it takes him a while to regroup. He said, though, that after this season's Junior Worlds, when there were high expectations that he perhaps didn't fulfill, 10th in that event, he said that he returned to form much quicker, feeling more clear-headed and composed. And he said that this season he's focused on his own growth rather than trying to prove anything to anyone else.
Perfect. That's perfect. And I can see that. He's working on his all-round skating, not just the elk jumps. Obviously, you're going to do that. But that piece of music is passionate and emotional, and you can see him trying to connect to that.
And we have to, I know we did last season, but we have to give a huge shout out to Bess Cow, the coach with him here. She doubles up as coach and choreographer, and she has trained Yanhao Li in New Zealand away from so many others. This year they had the fortune of training a little bit with Arlet Lavandi and his mother, who went over to New Zealand to train with him, but nevertheless the work of this coach has to be so much greater without others around them in close proximity to motivate the daily task and the daily grind of training at this very, very high intensity and level. Yeah,
you know, and I think being the first New Zealand skater to win a Junior Grand Prix event and all that, you know, excitement around it, no matter how much you try to park that, it's a feeling of responsibility to the organization, not to the organization, but to the other young skaters in New Zealand that will look up to him.
And I think Yanhao had explained that success then reshaped and reframed the perspective, and that's perhaps part of the reason that he struggled through a Junior World to 10th place, where he was in contention for a medal at that. Now, hopefully the focus that he said he has on his own growth is still going to be his focus when this score comes up.
He's on the right path. There's no question of that. 127.33, that's 7th in the free program with a 205.51, and that'll put Yanhao Li currently into 3rd place. He has 2 skaters to come, and certainly at least Rio Nakata for sure